Welcome to episode 9 of America in Crisis, a break in the cycle of addiction. My name is David Hunt and I am your host. Every city is different with different problems and different solutions. Today's guests are Everett Fire Chief Anthony Colley and Tori Cyrus, the SUD Program Coordinator. The city of Everett is located in Metro Boston and has a population just over 42,000 residents. The department currently responds to over 5,000 calls per year with a force of about 103 firefighters. I met both of our guests when they spoke at the April meeting of Middlesex District Attorney Marion Ryan's opioid task force. Not only are they members of the task force, but they were our guest speakers. Welcome to my show, Chief, and to Tori.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
We're going to show the chart up on our screen that shows that as of April 16th, there were 55 overdoses of different drugs in Middlesex County. While that sounds like a low number, any number is a high number. Middlesex leads in low overdoses, but however, again, any number is a high number. We have to thank, obviously, the task force and Marion Ryan for the tremendous job she does by bringing the task force together. People like Chief Colley, Tori, and all the guests, law enforcement, and solutions that are out. Now, it looks like there was only one overdose death so far in 2019 up till April. In fact, it's now up to May. Chief, what do you attribute with a population of 42,000 people, how there was only one overdose?
Well, like you said, David, we take even one overdose death very seriously. One is too many in our book. We're happy to see a decrease, but we're cautiously optimistic about the reasoning behind that. One such reason could be the increase of bystander Narcan. We're seeing that when we get to calls that people have already been administered Narcan, which is a great thing that families and friends are now carrying this life-saving drug. Another reason could be just people are seeking help before they get to the point of overdosing, which is another great sign from the programs that are out there. And we're losing a little bit of that stigma, so I think that might be the case as well.
How long have you been the fire chief of Everett?
So I've been the fire chief coming on 3 years now. I've been on the department a total of 19, and I'm also, I grew up in Everett.
Yeah. Okay, you see a picture flashing up on our screen. I think this is you speaking at the April meeting of the task force with Marion Ryan. Back there you are now. What was that like to be a guest speaker?
Well, it's like you said in the start of the show today, Marion Ryan has been an unbelievable advocate for these issues in the community. And I always love helping out the task force and speaking about the specific challenges we have in Everett, but I love attending the task force meetings just to see the other challenges, the other solutions other communities are finding within the district.
Now, you mentioned a minute ago that the bystander Narcan has been a great help to your city for a positive outcome. Now, do your firefighters or just the EMTs, who in your department carries Narcan?
So we carry Narcan on every piece of our apparatus, including our deputy chief's vehicle, our fire prevention vehicles. So we have it on at the ready for us. Most recently, we just outfitted every police officer with their own carrying case. So every police officer will actually have Narcan on their person as well in the city.
Can you walk us to a typical call? 911 gets called, my son's in the street, my son's in his bedroom, he's not breathing, I think he overdosed. What happens from here, Chief?
So from there, they activate our EMS response system as far as, depending on whether it's our engine company or our ladder company, to respond to the address. Simultaneously, they're also contacting Cataldo EMS. We have a very quick response time, as does Cataldo. Like I said, hopefully somebody had bystander Narcan that can start the life-saving process before we get there. But at any rate, we get there and we start immediately life-saving measures for the person.
Now, for our viewers that don't really know the EMS system, why is Cataldo called? What do they do?
So they're our third-party EMS provider. In Everett, they provide all EMS ambulatory services. So they provide paramedic level and basic life BLS services, EMT services for us. On my department, out of roughly 100 members, we have about 35 that are EMTs, but everybody else is first responder qualified.
And what happens on a typical call? You found the victim. I know you're giving me general overview, but what happens when they find a victim? The person's not breathing. Can you walk us through what treatment is actually done for this person?
Absolutely. So we immediately start with the administer of Narcan, and then we start with breathing as far as, chest compressions, check their vital signs, see what other life-saving measures we can take to start the process of bringing them back to life to get that person alive.
The bottom line is a lot of people hear, oh yeah, we Narcaned him, he's great, he turned out good. They don't realize that when you get there, you're doing CPR, the person's dead, he's already died.
Absolutely. So it is, and that can be some misinformation. People think that it is a life-saving drug and it is crucial as part of the process, but it is just one of the steps we take in ensuring that we can get these people back to where they need to be.
You have an excellent record of response, again, with citizen bystander Narcan. Do you think some people take this Narcan is going to fall out of the sky, that there are people shooting up thinking everybody on the street has Narcan? Do you think there's a little factor in there that they have a little bit of too much faith that someone's going to fall out of the woodwork with Narcan?
I'm not sure. I know for a fact that these people a lot of times aren't thinking clearly. I know there's been, a common, a common thought process that people think, well, oh, okay, well, there's Narcan everywhere.
Exactly.
I can challenge, I could take more drugs, or I could do this, or I could do that. I would like to think that people aren't thinking that way, and that they're in the throes of addiction. I don't think they're thinking necessarily clearly about whether they're going to live or die or have Narcan that readily available. At any rate, we're happy that families are now carrying this. We're happy now that a lot of stores are carrying it, as far as their employees have it on them. People, I've been touched personally by addiction as far as people in my family, and I'm happy that we have this life-saving drug that's so readily available.
It's a godsend as long as people are trained on the street, and that's why we believe in training between fire department, police department, interpersonnel, especially around the home. I mean, right now you can go to CVS, Walgreens, and you can purchase Narcan. There are other programs that are out there at no cost that are available to the public, that if your son, your daughter, even spouse is using, that this is available. I mean, obviously there's help everywhere, but people don't like help. They figure, okay, I can call my fire department, which is a great response. The only problem is, if you're nowhere near the fire department or you don't catch the person, so many people die in their bed at night because mom is downstairs. She has no idea that you just shot up and overdosed, and she's hearing the TV on and wouldn't even think of checking on you. So a lot of times it's time, how fast you can get to the victim. I mean, when you call 911, Everett has a fantastic response rate. So the city I live in, Woburn, has a fantastic response rate, but they've got to get that phone call while the person is still alive. That's the whole catch.
Absolutely.
Unless you're notified, you don't know what's happened.
Absolutely. We can only do so much if we're not notified.
And then obviously whatever you're doing is working. There's one overdose since the beginning of the year in the month of May. That's a fantastic record. That can only be attributed to your department, the training, education. Now we have Tori Cyrus with us. Tori, what is your role?
So my title is the Substance Use Disorder Program Coordinator. And initially it started by the mayor and the chief's collaboration because of the increase of overdoses that their departments were responding to. And so when I first came in, we didn't really know what to do. This was a brand new program. I'm from Everett as well.
Okay.
And my family's been affected by the epidemic that we're all facing right now. But since having these ties in the community, we figured it out by working together. I'm directly embedded in the fire department, so after they come back from a call, they'll give me the information, and then what we do is we bring our team together and we do door knocks, and we try to help in any way we can. A lot of the times people aren't ready to get the help they need, but families are always opening the door and trying to figure out, like we were talking about before, Dave, with the Narcan. We are now able to train and supply families with Narcan because of our harm reduction grant that we were just given. So
my understanding is right that after a call, instead of saying call's over, my job's done, you're going out reaching out to see if they need some help and what you can do to be of assistance?
Absolutely, yeah, and we keep track now too, which is huge with this entire epidemic. Like the data collection, we would have never known like how bad the problem was and how much better we're getting if we didn't collect this data that we are now, and that's all from the Everett Fire Department and the Police Department and EMS.
Actually, when I met both Chief Carley and Tori Cyrus at our opioid meeting, I was so impressed by what they had to say. They spoke for about 30 minutes. I was so impressed I had to bring them in, because obviously they're doing something right. So how long have you been with in the SUD program? We never got into that.
Yeah, so it's been 2 years. I started in February of 2017.
Okay.
And what makes this program so special is that it's not a grant, it is a budgeted line item.
Okay.
And so that just shows like the dedication from the administration and Chief Carley that they're really trying to tackle this problem head on. So 2 years has gone by and we've seen a dramatic decrease of overdoses and incidents and fatal overdoses, which is all to the help of just collaboration from municipal departments.
And are the people receptive to you when you go and knock on the door that had an overdose, or the parents of the child that's had it? How are they receptive to you?
Yeah, so most of the time, they're just a little iffy. They don't want to get into any trouble, and we just remind them. The first thing I usually say is, "Hi, I'm Tori. I work with the fire department. We know that we had a medical call here recently." And when you say it's a medical call, it sometimes relieves the pressure on individuals, and we really just imply that, we're here to help, and nobody's here to keep track of what's going on in your home, and we just want to make sure that people are safe and people are staying alive, and families have the resources and the support that they need from the community.
Is there a phone number in Everett you could call if somebody wanted to get in touch with you? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, so my phone number is 617-874-0489, and that's on me at all times 24/7. You can call, text that number, and if anybody needs help with treatment or harm reduction, we have so many different resources that we've brought together that if there's anything that anybody needs in regards to substance use disorder, we can usually help them out.
Can you share some of the programs with us? If I was in Everett and I wanted to call, said, "Hey, I'm a father, my 18-year-old son needs help, or my 12-year-old son," or at any age, opiate can be any age. What would you refer me to? What programs are available either through the city, or where would you refer me if I'm asking you for help?
So everybody's different. So if somebody were to call me, we have to meet people where they are.
Okay.
So I understand that the needs and the desires from a parent might be different than the needs and desire from a user. So what we usually do is we talk to the parent, we offer them support groups that are in the community, like Learn to Cope, which is in Cambridge, and we have actually a GRASP coordinator too, which has a lot of different organizations ties to parents and losing individuals to substance use disorder. But we like to meet with the families and just let them know like what's going on, and then we have somebody that meets with the individual that might be using. And so having that separation and offering services to both sides of this is huge, a huge benefit to everybody.
Okay, if I'm an adult user and I call you for help, I'm recreational, but I've already gone on I'm heading towards the deep end. What would you tell me, and what would you offer me? Where if I say, "Hey, I need help, but I've got a job, I'm in the public, my boss can't find this out. How can we do this quietly?" Where would you send me?
So we would discuss like the different treatment options. So there's obviously like the detox process, which usually lasts from 5 to 7 days. And then we can talk about like intensive outpatient programs that we have in the community or communities around us, or we have programs that we can offer that might be a long-term program that they need to look into. But we also like to talk about like how it's really important to be open about what's going on, especially with your employers. We've created a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce too, to educate employers to talk about like what's going on with their employees, and if they have any types of solutions for individuals that might be suffering with substance use disorder. So we really like to sit down and discuss with that individual how important it is to be open and honest about what's going on in their lives, so that their employer can actually help them, especially with like insurance too. So we would go through your insurance and figure out what would be the best option for you and what's going on in your life.
Now, when we hear the word detox all the time, everybody hears that he went to detox. Oh, there was a month, there was a week, there was a 72-day program. What actually happens in a detox? People have the idea, oh my God, they're going to strip me of all my drugs. I'm going to be handcuffed to a bed somewhere. What really happens in detox?
So there's a medical detox, which they put you on a program, usually with Suboxone or methadone, and you just go through the process of detox. And so your body is reacting towards not being able to supply it with the substance that they've been using. And so we see a lot of people like they're physically ill. They'll have sweats, vomit. And so what happens is that they make that process a little easier to go through when you go through a medical detox, because they're giving you medicine that might help and aid in those withdrawals that you're experiencing.
If I go through a couple of weeks detox, you're just going to open up the doors, I'm on my own, or is there any type of follow-up after that to see how I'm doing?
Yeah, so detox is usually only 5 to 7 days, and then usually detox programs offer the different treatment options. But on our side, we like to stay connected with our individuals, especially if we put them through a detox or put them through a program. So we've developed relationships with different facilities around our area And we've also made sure to develop that relationship with the individual that's trying to get help. That way that they can call us at any time and tell us how things are going, or if they're ready to come home but they want to make sure that they have counseling available, or if they have aftercare available. We make sure that everybody is giving a warm handoff to the next step.
This sounds so intense on what you do for people versus, okay, the call is over, you're on your own.
Yeah,
It's
no.
absolutely amazing. Now, Chief, you shared a story with us earlier at the task force meeting that almost anybody can have a problem and end up on an addiction at no fault of their own. Do you feel comfortable sharing that with us?
Yeah, I think it's just important, Dave, that I think when we see people on the street that are suffering through this illness, or we have family members, I think a lot of times people tend to put them in certain columns and say, okay, that's not my family, or that's not my type of person. But I think it's important that we recognize that firefighters aren't immune from this problem, police officers aren't immune from this, school teachers, public servants in any way, shape, or form still battle these types of these challenges in their life. And on the Everett Fire Department, we're not immune from that. We've had people suffer addiction and get help and get services. And I think it's important to know that as part of ending that stigma of that can't happen to me, or that isn't my family, or that isn't mine. We take more of a human approach to this, to say they're all human beings, that if we see them at the local coffee shop, or if we see them in the street, that they are still, they're somebody's mother, daughter, work partner, wherever it may be, but they're still very important members, because it's a human side, it's a human life that we're trying to save.
And that's the part that people have to realize is, okay, there's the recreational use, I'm going out on a Friday night, I'm getting high with my friends, and then the people that get injured on a job, a construction worker, somebody fell off a ladder, whatever, they legally are taking the medication. I've had rotator cuff surgery many years ago. I'm the wimp that can't take the drugs. They put me on OxyContin years ago. And I took 2 pills, I was so sick from it, I couldn't handle the drug, thank God. But if I was on that and you start getting that into your system like anybody else, if you give him a month, 2 months worth, or even longer, 9 months worth, because he had surgery, he has a major back problem, he can't get out of bed, and then suddenly the doctor comes and says, okay, you've had enough, I'm pulling the plug, that patient might not be getting high on the drug or getting any good feelings from the drug. It's just stopping a pain that he has. Or his body gets so used to the product in there, again, he's getting no pleasure out of that drug, but now he can't get out of bed, his body's sick, he's got no energy, he's lethargic, simply because that's in his system. I'm a perfect example. I took allergy pills for years as a kid, simple allergy pills. I wanted a cat. Mom goes, nope, can't have a cat, you're allergic to it. So genius me, okay, my allergy's cured, I'm not gonna take pills anymore. My body went into such ridiculous stuff because I had this simple allergy pill my body took every day of your life. And your body gets hooked on these things. And I can imagine an opioid, something that's so powerful, that's so hard to get off of, it can happen to anybody. Again, construction workers, police, firemen get hurt, anybody. And then they just yanked the plug, said, okay, your prescription's over. These people don't know what to turn to, and these are the people that need the help the most, but they need to get into something, okay, I need to be a lower level and titrate myself off of this, not just pull the plug. And these people don't want to be on this stuff. They didn't want it in the first place. So people have to understand that people that are having addiction problems aren't because they're going out getting high on a Friday night. These are people that was part of their medical training, and medical treatment rather, and they just pull the plug on them. Okay, your 90-day supply is over, good luck, and your body's going into turmoil. And the doctors have to realize there's got to be something out there to give them, lower the dosage, let them come off gradually so their bodies no longer need it. So just because somebody's having a problem, it could be for various reasons, and you've got to get that stigma over. You've got to stop. If someone says to you, even if he's the guy that's using it on a Friday night recreationally, you've got to say, okay, he has a problem. Let's help him. Let's not judge him. He's coming to you for help. And parents, I implore you, when your son says, I don't care what image you have of your child, if your child says to you, hey, listen, I need help. This happened a few weeks ago. I was at Stop and Shop in Woburn in the meat line, and a woman said to me, goes, are you the guy on TV? I said, I might be. Why? And she goes, we were watching it on a Saturday night. Thank you, cable, you gave me prime time on a Saturday night. So I was watching it, and my son came downstairs. I said, thank God you never got involved in that stuff. And the child said to the mother, Mom, we need to talk. And she said, I never knew, never had a clue my son was using an opioid. He goes, I didn't have a clue in the world. and he's on a sports team and everything else, and the kid's well known. And he said, why, what happened? He goes, my friends are using it. I couldn't say no. How do you say no with your friends? That person got help because they saw that on Women Public Media. And that's one of the reasons I'm out here. And I can't thank Women Public Media enough, because that's one child that got treatment. She said, I got into a program. As soon as I talked to my son, we got him into a program. And I never even knew he had a problem if it wasn't for that TV show at 8 o'clock that night. So that's what makes you feel good, why we're out here doing it. So everybody, we are out here making a difference, but when your child comes to you, do not judge him. Say, oh my God, I'm so disappointed, how could you? That's not part of a conversation. What can I do to help you? Let's get him the treatment like that mother did. So, speaking of treatments, I understand your city is about to increase by 50% in the upcoming months with the
It
casino.
very well could, yes.
How is Everett prepared with such a low number of one overdose? You're going to get 20,000 new daily residents and many overnight residents. Do you feel that this is going to bring people that are recreationally going to be using the drug at night in their hotel room?
Well, yeah, Dave, we've been working on this, the casino coming for well over 4 years now with WIN and with local governments and regional governments to help us best combat the things that we're going to see there. But we fully expect, and from our research shows, that anything we see on the streets of Everett most likely we'll see inside the building that's being built now. I feel that we've done everything as far as we can to prepare effectively for it. Tori has worked with Encore Boston Harbor Security. On their members will actually be carrying Narcan there.
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll still be responding there as far as our EMS protocol, so we'll still be rendering aid as far as 911 calls are concerned for the facility, and Cataldo will be responding as well. So I think we put all the pieces together to make sure everybody has a safe and enjoyable time there. But we completely expect, as you said, we could get upwards of 15,000 to 20,000 people there on a daily basis. So it's definitely something we've been training towards.
And if it turned out that because of the traffic that you couldn't get an ambulance there in the normal time that you do, you'd maybe consider in the future a detail there or an ambulance or something
So
station?
we anticipate to have a presence there on special events and large occupancy evenings, so it can cut down as far as on our response time. We're planning, obviously traffic will be increased in the area, but we want to make sure that everybody has a safe and enjoyable time there.
Well, it sounds like a great idea. The city obviously been preparing this for years, and I'm sure there's training and everything you've gone through with the security guards.
Yeah, that's been great. That's been great. And Encore Boston Harbor had reached out to us on that, expressing an interest, seeing that, what was going on as far as in our city. So we're hoping that we can see a trend as far as seeing the decreases in our city itself, and hopefully that carries over to their resort.
You've got a great reputation. One overdose in 5 months. I mean, that's amazing. Obviously, between Tori's efforts, the chief's efforts, just everybody, all the departments, the mayor, and everybody, city council, everybody that's been working together. I understand you guys work very closely with your council, with your mayor. If you need something, it's out there. You got
Absolutely.
the Narcan to the police, you got it to the firefighters, and your programs bringing it out to the public, making them more aware of this. And then, of course, you see something, say something. It's a large area.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've trained everybody in the casino about that.
Right.
Do you see any unexpected problems with the casino as far as an increase of calls, or you feel you're pretty comfortable, everybody's in place?
I don't see any unexpected situations that are coming. I would probably just think that or assume that we'd see like an increase of these calls, but I think that we're fully prepared, like Chief said, especially with having this program in place for 2 years now. If we do see an increase, we have a very open line communication with Encore Boston Harbor that we can provide any types of resources on base too.
Really sound like everybody's done a lot of work and a lot of planning for the unexpected, and obviously you've got an awesome force, 103 firefighters that are available.
Yes.
What would you like to say to the people, our viewers? Any last words about Everett, on what type of community it is? Any programs you'd like to offer and let them know what they can do?
Well, again, Tori had said her number at the beginning of the program, and if we could just let everybody know that there is so many resources out there. There's so many ways that you can get help, and like what you said, running into that mom at the supermarket, we see that as well. We're starting to see a change in the stigma, and we want to get that message out that if you need help, call us. Tori deals with other cities. She has a great network of people that are in the surrounding community due to the District Attorney's Task Force as well. So we're able to cross those lines. It's not just an Everett problem. It's not just another city's problem. They deal with each other as far as helping residents of those cities as well that might find themselves in Everett. So if you're in Everett and you need help, or if you're somewhere else and need help, reach out. We'll be able to get you the help you need.
And on various shows, you hear us talking about the Middlesex District Attorney's Opioid Task Force. This was created by District Attorney Marion Ryan several years ago. Once a month we meet. This is police, fire, EMS, counselors, programs, anybody that has an idea of a program they can send you to. Because what might work in Woburn and what might work in Everett, which is a large city, may not work on the Cape for such a small area. Even though it's a different county, people watch this and they get together in smaller communities. I mean, think Middlesex County has 62, 63 cities in the county, and what might work for a big city may not work for a little city. So we combine all this, and everybody has a chance to speak. We have 3 speakers that come up, such as Chief Carley and Tori Cyrus. They were guest speakers in April, and we learn from them in other communities and other fire chiefs, like, hey, that's a great idea, I never thought of it. And so people like Marion Ryan, our district attorney, she's out there in the forefront fighting this. I don't think when she took the job years ago, she ever would have thought she'd be leading up and spearheading a task force whose #1 goal is to save lives and to make sure programs are available. And this is why I'm also a member of the task force, and I get most of my guests from the task force, because what they have to say is so important. And for our viewing public, to bring this information forward to the public. I mean, we've had the Phoenix program, which is our first guest. We've had Freddie Live Fitness, Freddie Gonzalez. We've had Rick Jolly on, our Woburn drug officer. They run the Boot Camp for a Cause, which is coming up in September or October. And of course, we have Marion Ryan's Back to School Safety Day, which addresses everything back in September with a wonderful barbecue. Everybody should be attending that. And just we had, like I said, we had the Woburn Police Chief, the Woburn Fire Chief. We've had Wakefield Police Chief. Why Wakefield again? Wakefield has ideas that Woburn doesn't, and vice versa. I'm sure that Everett learned something from Wakefield. We all learn from each other. We've also had some guests in. We've had State Rep James Dwyer came in as one of my guests. And of course, Marion Ryan was a guest host on this show. So we're out here to give you information. This is not a one-size-fits-all package. Tori, you've done so much in the couple of years that you've been with the SUD program. What would you like to say to our viewers as far as going to help?
Just like, I want to echo what Chief said. If somebody is struggling anywhere, if they just give us a call, we can usually find somebody to tap into to provide resources. And just, like I said before, like being honest and open allows us to be honest and open about your treatment options or the resources that can be used.
And before I go into our closing remarks, I just want to say a couple of quick things. I owe it all to Woburn Public Media Center. The work that these people do behind the cameras, behind the scenes is amazing. Lauren Coleman, my producer, our executive director, Brian Ouellette, Jen Gata, one of my directors, Anthony Giulio, awesome at editing. He fixes all my mistakes. And just the people, the students that come into the media center. We've had students tape the show. You would never know it. I didn't even know what was happening. If you're in high school and you want to get into a great career, you need to check out the Woburn Public Media. This can lead to so much in the future. My biggest regret in life is this was not available when I was growing up. I mean, the work that they do is absolutely fantastic, not just for my show. If you're watching this, check out the other shows. There are so many people that work so hard to make this good for our community. Check out the other shows and all the other hardworking people that come in every week. We don't get paid for this. We're volunteer. We bring this because we like helping the community, just like every other show on Woburn Public Media. These people aren't paid. They're doing it. We like doing it. We're doing it to help the community. And a lot of people work a lot harder than I do at this. So I would like to thank our guests, Everett Fire Chief Anthony Carley and Tori Cyrus, the sub-program coordinator, for appearing today. If you're a loved one or having a substance abuse issues, you can contact the Everett Fire Department at 617-874-0489. The show can be seen on YouTube as well as on Woburn Public Media Center's website and can be seen on a rotating basis across all its channels. Please share this show on your social media with all your friends and anyone that may benefit from it. For America in Crisis, Breaking the Cycle of Addiction, my name is David Hunt, and thank you so much for watching these episodes. They really mean a lot to the community. They mean a lot for me for watching, and hopefully you got something out of this. Again, thank you for Woburn Public for all the work that you've done behind the scenes in making this show possible.